Hello everybody, welcome to SFG Live. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm joined by Alex on the final day of the Godtear Kickstarter, and it has been just bonkers in SFG HQ.
It's been a journey. Yeah, it's been an absolute journey. So I know like a lot of the backers look on KickTrack, as do we. It's a good way of gathering data.
KickTrack's one of those weirdly obsessive things. Every morning I wake up and check KickTrack, how's it doing?
And it makes no sense.
Nope.
Like we have run a few Kickstarter campaigns, and our KickTrack stuff always seems to look a bit odd. This one in particular, that well-known, really busy day 9 in a Kickstarter campaign, big day 9 with the big 30,000 increase, with the, I'm assuming, £1 pledges dropping out, and then you see like the backer number going down, the number, and it's just like, well, we can get no meaningful data from this.
Our graph for the campaign looks so weird because backer numbers obviously goes really high up, then drops. But the total just keeps on going up, and it just ignores the fact that we had these backers drop out. But then they seem to have, either they or more interested parties came back in the final day, as we've currently had 123 in the final day alone.
Smashed it.
And for the Raising the Banner stretch goals, you guys at home have absolutely killed it, and there are like double everything, if not triple in some cases.
It's just showing off.
Yeah.
It's just showing off at this point. But don't stop.
Don't stop.
Still
Keep going.
Left. Keep going.
Do you not think this feels like, so on screen the guys can see the Kickstarter total, how long's left, we've got a timer going on. It kind of feels like the comic relief thing.
Yes, it does a bit.
Where like,
feel like
make sure you donate because the total just keeps going up. So currently we're on 336,000. We've got 28 minutes left, and we'll start answering some of the questions you guys have asked us in the
So
chats.
something I'll cover here. Ideally, in questions relating to gameplay or the development and stuff, not lore. Sherwin knows that. Alex doesn't know that. Jamie probably doesn't know that. No. So development questions we'll take for anything that's kind of past, present or future. Anything along those lines. If you do have any questions that come through to try and get an immediate answer on something you're confused with the Kickstarter campaign, I imagine we can tackle those. Yeah. So we got any ready to go?
Yes, so we've got one here. Question, will there be champions without followers in the future?
Doubtful. I imagine not, purely because when you look at the 4 classes as they're lined up, if we were to have a champion that didn't have any followers, that's just straight counter Maelstrom.
Hard counter for them,
And the followers offer not only something interesting in terms of flavour and gameplay, but they are kind of integral to how the game works with the movement, use them to block off hexes. I know generally speaking a lot of people will say just group them up to get the better skill attacks.
But also if you've got a large number of followers like the Orcs, just go clog up an area and deny those movement paths through.
And force action. So it's like, I'm going to put this guy here, and you can probably move him out the way or kill him, but that costs you an action to do so, which holds up your plan. So that's a long way of saying probably not, but never say never. We may do, but I think it's unlikely.
Chances at an additional add-on Godtear dice tray like we have for our streamed games.
So they are a licensed product with one of our lights all rolled up.
All rolled up. That's the one.
You will be seeing them at some point, whether they will be an add-on at some point during the backer kit or not, or I don't know.
Future retail release.
But they may be. So I imagine they will exist in some way, shape or form, but they won't be for the Kickstarter, I'm afraid.
Cool. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, this thing. I'm guessing this is what you're referring to. I keep looking over the camera over there because I'm used to looking that way and I'm on the wrong side. But assuming you mean these...
We're on this camera.
We're on this one now. Oh,
yeah. We've always been on this one.
We've always been on that one, so I've just been looking at the middle for no reason whatsoever. Or left. So
looking away from you.
Just looking over there. Just rude. Talking to the wall. It's like the rest of my job. So, we have these things...
Centre.
Now we're on the... I'll get right.
Centre.
I'm out. I'm doing an as. I'm taking my mic off. I'm leaving. Right, which one are we on?
We're on this one. We're on centre. I think we need lights for visitors to the set.
So we've got this one here. Obviously, they pop together to make it the dice tray, and the reason they're called all rolled up is because there are many ways you can store them, but you can just pop those together like so. And then it's a nice, easy way to pop it in a gaming bag or something, and then you just pop it out and put them together. They're super cool. I've had one of All Rolled Up's dice trays for a while. I want to say since Spiel last year, and I use it pretty much any time I personally play games outside of work. So yes, I imagine we'll have them available during the Kickstarter campaign. Probably not.
Would you like to see certain scenarios as tournament scenarios and others as more casual? Are you trying to make them all scenarios competitive or available for play in competitive play? Or are some of them strictly for like the campaign weekends?
I think it's definitely the main thing we want to do with the scenarios is make sure that they all feel different.
Yep.
And that different champion comps work well in different scenarios. Based on that logic, within theory, any of them can work in a sort of competitive environment.
Yep.
And I would like to be able to do some more kind of campaign specific to the season packs and stuff. If the scenarios work and feel good, we'll do that. If they don't, then we'll use the roster of ones we've already got made up because we know they work and feel right. And that one's going to come down to playtesting as to what is the right or wrong call on that one.
That's the questions we've... Oh, it wants us to come in. Do you guys have a favourite sculpt, and is it the same or different as favourite stat game piece? So is your favourite model the same rules-wise?
Yeah. You go first because I don't know, and I know who your favourite is. So.
Oh well, I think I am. I got a message from Russ, our sculptor today, showing me a certain lady.
Oh yeah.
And she is just shot straight up above Rodri.
Oh really?
Yeah.
She's overtaken Rodri.
Well, I think they're probably on parity, to be fair.
Okay.
Because I've seen Rodri in the 3D print and metal.
Yeah.
And once I've seen her, then they might. I need to see him in person to get a true thing for it. As for rules, it's still Rodri.
Okay.
So I don't know what she does.
You see, mine's... So following some certain events in the office that went on today, Sneaky Pete is edging his way in. And I know that's unfair because you guys haven't seen Sneaky Pete, but Sneaky Pete is really cool. I nearly swore there. He's really cool. I really like the sculpt. He might be... So at the start of the campaign, it was Rodri.
Yep.
Then I shifted to Blackjaw. Then I kind of fell in love with Rangosh.
Yep.
And Rangosh has kind of been my favourite for a while. And then Sneaky Pete's sneaking in there. So it's between Rangosh and Sneaky Pete for both.
Yep.
I love them both model-wise, and I love them both rules-wise. Apparently, I'm a Slayer guy, and I didn't see that coming, but apparently I like Slayers. So yeah, it's close between Rangosh and Sneaky Pete for both categories, and I couldn't pick between the two.
Do different races inspire design choices, such as dwarves being often tough, and elves being fast and tricky, and so on?
So we do have a document sort of in the background in terms of development, which isn't necessarily kind of hard set rules that guys will see in terms of like racial traits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we do have kind of a small document where we have general themes we want to carry through a race.
Yep.
So as an example of that would be the elves. We would tend to see them be faster than your average model and have some way of making themselves more nimble as they are going on or move. So Lorsane's example would be shoot and scoot. So she's quite fast and she's got a way of moving outside of that.
Yep.
Sneaky Pete, I guess, is a small spoiler. This is early in play, like internal play testing, but we're toying around with he gets most of his dirty work done in the plot phase rather than the clash phase, to kind of show that kind of goblins are a bit backwards in the way they do things. That may become a thing that we do for all goblins if it works. We're kind of stretching the system out at this point to see what works and what doesn't, and it may not work at all. So that's the one that we're looking at for the goblins. So they all, I guess to answer the question, they all have something in the background driven by their race, but it's not necessarily, it's more a design rule that we try and keep to rather than this race must do this all the time.
Yeah. This one I'm just going to pull from the Kickstarter comments because it's a question that's been asked a lot. Is, I know it's early, but are there or have there ever been any plans to put terrains other than the Godtears themselves into the game?
So it is a question that comes up a lot, and it's a question that's had a lot of thought gone into it from myself and DC. We've had a lot of chats about it. We're still not sure. Terrain is often seen as kind of a big thing in a miniatures game.
Yeah.
But the followers kind of function like you'd expect terrain to. We've tried putting some different variations of terrain rules into existing scenarios and don't feel like it adds a huge amount. It's just kind of, because of the way hexes work, if there is a piece of terrain that covers one hex, there's always going to be a hex next to it that you can move past, which means you need to be covering a larger area with terrain. It's not a huge board.
No.
And then you look at it that in terms of follower interaction, objective hexes do what terrain would do.
Yeah.
Followers can't go on them. So we're continuing to look at it. It hasn't been a firm yes or no decision on whether we will or won't have terrain.
Yeah.
It's kind of ongoing in development. At the moment, it looks like we'd have to have almost specifically designed scenarios to make terrain work.
Yes.
And at that point, you start to question whether it's worthwhile. But that is...
Because if it's snowy, everyone suffers a -1 move. That's the exact same as being... Everyone is the same move, just everyone's a bit slower. Game takes longer.
So we haven't made any firm decisions on it. We'll continue to play test, and once we get to a point, it's sort of in the development where we think everything is kind of locked in, we can start to look at terrain then. If we do have terrain, I don't think it will be as complicated as some people have looked at, because it just extends how long a game takes to play.
Yeah.
So there will be ongoing discussions about it, but I can't give a definitive yes or no, because we're just not at the point in development to be able to make a yes or no answer to that one.
One, I guess, would be a bit more for me. Will there be a separate pundit program for Godtear? As of yet, it's not been completely decided upon, but what we're thinking of doing is having like an umbrella thing, so that if you want to be a Steamforged pundit, basically, you apply and you let us know what games you can do.
Right.
And then when we put out a shout out like, we need people to come demo for this at this show, we need this many, pundits who can demo Godtear, you might then apply saying, oh, well, I can do that, but not this.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. I think that way it's a little bit cleaner, it keeps everybody in the same community, and you don't potentially get this thing where you're like, oh, well, I'm a Guild Ball pundit and I'm a Godtear pundit. We all love Steamforged for what it is, and that's what we want to keep.
Yeah. And I think it's just generally good in terms of community, where you kind of keep everybody under the same banner. It makes it nice and easy to kind of, for you to be able to engage with that community and keep it kind of growing in the positive direction that it is.
Just on the community growth, actually, we started the Kickstarter campaign with 1,000 people on the Godtear Facebook page.
Come on, brag. What's it up to?
And I think we're up to about 3,200 last I checked. So it has like massive growth, which is really good to see.
Which I know in the video that we recorded before the Kickstarter went live was a big part for you being excited about. So tick that one off the list as well.
Very well done. And I hope everybody enjoyed those huge like minis that we shared around.
This is where you turn around and go, got you.
Because we knew what we were doing.
We knew.
Don't dead open inside. Oh, you've done it wrong. Comments are king on Facebook. everyone who said, oh, you spelt it wrong, or oh, you did that badly.
Why
we
does
knew
it
what
look
we were
in
doing.
a weird order? So it's an interesting part of like the psychology behind marketing, where a typo stands out to you, or what you perceive as a typo, makes you more likely to look at something, and then more likely to say
you did it wrong.
So. He got you. Sorry, guys, he got you. Hook, line, and sinker.
When will you get a Godtear tattoo?
Oh.
You were going to get little Guild Ball ones at some point, the Guild symbols, weren't you?
Maybe should at this point. What are we on? What total are we on?
We are currently on, let me scroll back up, 338.
If we get to 340,000, I will get a Godtear tattoo of some description. There you go. You have that is my promise.
What, 340?
If we get to 340, I'll get a Godtear tattoo.
Good stuff. All right. Would you rather fight a single Rangosh-sized duck or 10 duck-sized Rangoshes?
Oh man.
I'd rather fight the 10 duck-sized Rangoshes.
Now you see, I think that's a very Maelstrom way of looking at things.
Yeah.
And as
Slayer.
Apparently a Slayer, I would go for the one
big
one big one, and I'd lose horrendously.
Against a duck.
It's a big. Ducks are scary. You tell me you've never been intimidated by a duck before?
No.
It's a weird question. Didn't think I'd be asking.
You telling me you've never been intimidated by a duck before? Where did this come from?
There.
Oh, dear.
He calls them as he sees them.
What a strange brag.
Yeah, this is. It's a celebration. So we've all gone mad.
Yeah. Hi Alex, what can we expect in terms of design of champions' abilities and ultimates? Have you considered anything different from push, damage, extra action abilities for the current roster? or will you keep it contained in these boundaries for balance?
It's not so much for balance as much as anything, as we've kind of made no secret. A lot of it's about accessibility.
Yeah.
We're super proud of how short and concise that rulebook is. And the moment that you introduce a new interaction mechanic, that either needs to be in the rulebook
explanation,
or it's extra text on a card to explain. There are a few other ones which we can look to explore, which I am not going to disclose at this point, but there are still a few other bits, which are just kind of tweaking current interactions of those, rather than introducing brand new ones. And something that had kind of not necessarily occurred to me until getting further down the line with using kind of the champion style way of doing things is you have to be aware at all times. I know we've been asked before, like, will we get more single follower champions? The issue with that is if we have 3 and then you see 3 single followers becoming a thing a lot of people do, you almost remove maelstroms from the game because the one extra point that you'd get from being a maelstrom doesn't make up for how much easier it'd be to get rid of that follower with the Slayer.
Yes.
So we need to be super careful in terms of kind of the class balance and the class makeup in terms of as we introduce things to make sure that it doesn't entirely not upset the balance, but upset what people feel like they can take. As I've said so many times, we want to push this. Pick the guys you like the look of the most. You can probably make it work. And that's a big part of it.
Okay. Which character class has the most competent minions?
Ooh, which character class has the... Oh, that's such a... Oh.
I guess competency comes from what the job is that you want to fulfill. If you don't want your things to die, then Rodri's guys. If you want to clog the enemy up, these guys, the little skeleton bros.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's aimed at, like... So the Shapers, we've got 2 different instances of Shapers over here, where the Whirlpools entirely facilitate Wraith doing his thing, which is a Shaper thing. But then the Golem is essentially, the Golem and Shale combo, currently, there may be some changes coming in the next update, maybe. Currently, that is almost like a champion with a pocket Slayer that goes around for him. I think generally in terms of the way that they function for me, I think it's between the Guardian and the Slayer. Rangosh is a really good example of 2 different ways in which you can use his followers to kill things. Lorsan's really good, Lorsane is very good in terms of she can start something off, and then if she gets it close enough to ultimate to finish it, she can do that. But her followers also gain extra damage against wounded targets, so they're good at finishing things off as well. So for me, it would be one of those 2 currently, but it's just so hard to ignore how integral the Wraith and Rid's followers are to making him work.
Making him fast.
So I don't know if I can answer that question with a definitive other than all of them, maybe? Which do you think?
Guardian.
You think Guardian?
Don't even know what Half-Tusk does. He's my boy, though.
Okay. Are you a fan of him as well? You
Froglodytes.
You just like the name?
Froglodytes.
That's what you like,
Frogs.
is the name. Have we kind of said that officially, that they are called Froglodytes?
Yeah.
That is out there?
That's out there.
Okay.
Locks and I made sure that was announced day one. The one we expected to see a little bit sooner, what is Finval's class? That, and the person who says this says that will be super helpful to see if I should bump my pledge up. There's 10 minutes left.
He is not a Shaper. He is not a Slayer. He is either a Maelstrom or a Guardian, and those that are astute will already know that on the assumption that we're evening up. Do I want to say?
All right, well, whilst you're thinking about it, today's update mentioned the Guild Ball rookies' growth over time influenced the legacy mechanics for Godtear. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, slightly. So those that are familiar with the Guild Ball Rookie League system will know kind of how that works. You play a game and then you get like a card. You get a choice of 2 sides of a card which are slightly changed. The Godtear system is going to be using something similar, but it's more likely to be, these are not final numbers, this is just kind of a further explanation. I believe the example I used in that article was Rangosh.
Yep.
So you earn, it may be currency, it may just be after you play a game you get an advancement. In terms of the actual way of funding that, we haven't decided yet. And you may have 3 upgrades available to you. So you know that he could, and this could either be the next tier is one of these 3 cards, the tier after that is one of these 3, or it could be, if we go for a currency, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. Tier 5 could be you get an augmented ultimate ability.
Yeah.
And that
you
costs
can
more to
save
do
up
it.
for
You
it.
can save up to buy one of those as your first if you would like.
Yeah.
But it's essentially you take these tiers, and essentially it's a way talent trees have been done in a lot of
Tiers,
video games.
T-I-E-R?
T-I-E-R, yeah. S.
Just making sure.
So you picture 2 or 3 different cards that you can choose from per tier, but you can only ever have one of them. So there will be hard choices in there, which is to try and ensure that you get to shape the champion the way you want them. So the reason I always use Rangosh as the example is Rangosh's toolkit is pretty good for a variety of different things. And how you wish to use him currently can dictate how much you get out of him. You can do repositions with him, which could help you protect a Guardian banner, if that's what you want to use him for. He has a very powerful reposition. And if that's your primary focus for using him, we want you to be able to really lean into that. Yeah. If you just use him because you want to go in and jawbreaker things and annihilate them, then we want to be able to facilitate that with choices so that you get him to just be a wrecking ball. And the idea is that by the end of this progression, you have shaped that character to fit exactly what you want. If you want an all-rounder, you may not be doubling down on the same skill or stat or the style of Ultimate because you just want to generally improve him. If you want to make him a big reposition guy that can also do some damage, you may go all in on tweaking how he repositions stuff.
Yep.
But that's kind of as much as I can really say at this point in terms of how that will work, but it is, you get to shape your guys more to fit the way you want to use them on the table. Yep. Is the grand vision. Yeah, I think that's about as much as I can say on that one.
All right.
Oh God, I've just seen the dreaded word lore.
How will the lore of Godtear be presented to the community in the future?
That's a good question. One that I don't really know. We do a variety of different blogs. We've got in rule books. We've got various different ways. Isn't there a group that are doing an audiobook version of Guild Ball stuff?
Yes, yeah. Tales of the Free Cities use our things that we put out there and create an audiobook. Really, really well.
So, I mean, in many ways, it's almost, I don't want to say dictated by the community how we do that, but the more the community support it, the more ways we have to present it.
Yeah. One of the troubles, I say troubles, it's really a good trouble, is finding a way for it to be collated for somebody who's come into the game a little bit later. It's something we're looking at in Guild Ball, of finding a way to pull all the loose threads that we've had over the years, put them into one book. Because if you joined Guild Ball in Season 1 and you read that book, you know the story that started Guild Ball. If you join in Season 3, which is probably quite likely with Kickoff, then you know the Season 3 story, but you don't really know what happened beforehand. We've got little catch-ups.
And then you play a game with someone, they go, using those, do you know they're dead? And you're like, what? What? What are you talking about?
What do you mean these ghasts dead? Yeah, the bear chewing face off. I'm just keeping an eye on the comment section of Kickstarter whilst we're doing this. Some really nice comments in there saying that this campaign's been handled really well. Some people always want more and more and might have dropped off because they didn't see the value they thought there, but they think that the daily updates, quick comment section, responses, engagement with backers, good added value in the form of the stretch goals, which are very nice, the daily unlocks, and overall our SFG's enthusiasm and management of this made it a really nice experience for them to
good.
Which is really nice to hear.
How many first-time Kickstarter users do we have in this one? I'd be intrigued to know that.
Yeah.
If this is your first ever Kickstarter and you've had a pleasant experience, let us know. Yeah. And also, it's not to drag it down, but would welcome any criticism as well. And I don't mean in terms of criticism, just like you didn't give us enough stuff. I mean, if there is a way that you think we could have done something better, a way that you think was done well, but seemed questionable at the time, just let us know. We're always open to feedback.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ones that I'm always very conscious of, and it became apparent during the Dark Souls campaign, was that because we were unlocking stuff so frequently, so often, people were like, "Can you stop with the updates?
Yeah, stop spamming updates."
Got a full inbox." So something we've been really considerate with Resident Evil and this one went round was that we didn't do round-the-clock updates.
Yeah.
We did them during our working hours, which is a little bit more manageable.
A big part of that one was the daily unlocks.
Yeah.
It just meant that we knew that we had a scheduled update that would go every day. Our backers knew there was a scheduled update that would go out every day at a similar time.
Fortunately, most of the time for me, the unlock coincided with that quite nicely. It was just a happy convenience. But I think knowing that there's an update coming at this time means that you can check your emails at that time rather than being like, we've passed that stretch goal. Where's the update?
Yep.
F5, 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 F5.
Which is a peculiar one for me because I've used Kickstarter every now and then.
Yeah.
And I like the big thing that we can kind of comment on is like as enthusiastic as we have been, or at least tried to be. It's crazy seeing the enthusiasm of the backers and the community because I know whenever I've backed to Kickstarter, it's been, okay, I'll pop my pledge in.
Back and forget.
It'll turn up when it turns up.
Yeah.
But when you see the guys who are like super eager to see the updates, see what's coming next, it kind of really does kind of egg you on to
do it there and then keep going. A few more questions. We are closing in, just under 4 minutes to go.
Right.
So
how's the total looking?
Total is on to 338,970.
My skill's just jumped up.
We're
my skin
very,
is
very
safe
close.
for now. My skin is
$1 grand more till your skin.
If we do, so one grand more, and I'm now getting a God tier tattoo, and at the 340,000, I will say the class, which the new elf is. Finval. There you go.
Gameplay demos were great, and with Alex talking about some of the design decisions, it's something that we in the office really felt. I mean, except for you with the surprise ones. Was that we feel that we've learned from previous Kickstarters that having the 3D prints and everything so far in advance this time meant that we could put out content for you, and you feel like you know a lot. You can make a much more informed decision.
And kind of as we've been kind of as open as we possibly can be in terms of the state of the game, and sort of saying like the 0.8 that we've showed for a lot of this, it's definitely getting there. It's a huge improvement, but it's not everything that's going to change. But as you say, giving that kind of, this is how the game is going to play. There are going to be tweaks from here, but it's along these lines, so people can have an informed decision on what they're backing and whether it looks like something they want. And it's when you see the backer number and the kind of the money number, the pledged number drop. Oh no!
You are £84 away from a tattoo.
Oh no! Loxham, you're paying for it.
That's 340.
Oh no!
Oh, there you go. You get a tattoo, Alex.
Loxham's still paying for it. Clark, should I do it now? I'm going to wait for it. I'm going to wait for 30 seconds in case. Okay, no, it's jumped up.
It's jumped up another.
The class.
This is everybody watching upstairs going, let's give Alex pain.
I have enough. Thank you. The class of the new elf was it Finval? I'm terrible at names. Yeah. He's a guardian. I know a lot of people thought it'd be cool if he was a guardian. Some people, Maelstrom, he is a guardian. That is what he has always been down as. As some people in the comments have said, it'd be cool to have kind of the more agile style of guardian.
Agile guardian.
And that is the route that we are looking for with him.
50 seconds left.
This is gonna. Why did I say?
30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Okay.
So we.
Right. Ronan, do you want to come and join us on camera for once? Whilst we do the countdown from 10.
I need to monitor the sound.
Oh, he's got to monitor the sound. 20 seconds left.
15.
All right, you ready?
If you got any last 10-second pledges, get them in now.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fun!
And now we can go home.
Bye. Bye. Oh no!
Am I safe?
You're not getting a tattoo anymore.
Am I safe?
Wait, no, it's real quick.
I'm getting a tattoo!
I think it's been legitimately about 5 years since I got a tattoo, and my old bones won't take it anymore. But they're going to have to.
They're going to have to deal with it.
Oh no. Well, what a ride that was. What a ride that was.
Right.
Tired now.
Yeah, well, I think we just heard the rumbles from upstairs. I think they've just seen the the total and everything close up. So
we
can't-
have one small announcement.
Do we?
Do we?
oh, we do.
You
Yes.
we will have an update that will get posted out by Mr. Giblin sitting next to me. We had some conversations around the office as we were looking, sort of as the campaign was coming to an end, and we were genuinely, this is not an exact, we were staggered by the support that we received towards the end of the campaign.
So the fact that you went above and beyond, and we ended up on 2,865 backers. We set a target of 2,700.
Yeah. So over doubled that one. The shares, all the other ones are over doubled, at least doubled, if not more. The only one that you didn't quite hit was the 350,000.
Yep.
So the graces that we have that run this wonderful company have decided you can have Fenval included in all of your pledges because they are lovely, lovely people and nicer than me, because I'd say you didn't earn it. I'm joking. So, those that are watching the stream, go and spread that in the comments. We'll put an update out to confirm that for everybody else.
Yep.
Good job, everyone. Thank you very much for your support. I'm going to go and get some sleep, and apparently in the near future, a tattoo.
Yeah. What are you going to get?
I don't know.
You're going to get the teardrop?
Maybe the teardrop. That might. Yeah. That feels a bit. Maybe the GT with the teardrop. Just the teardrop feels a bit like cheating.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the stream. It was a nice little round out to the campaign for us to sit here and talk to you guys. Thank you all so much. We will be back on Thursday for SFG Live, showing off some Guild Ball and the first Falconer.
Yeah. And I've got some work to do. I've got my actual job to go and do now.
You got to make more of this. You got to make Finball.
No more swanning down to the media suite to do some streams. I've got some real work to do now.
Yeah. Oh, look at that! Everybody in the chat's now like, why have we unlocked Finball? I don't understand. I better go do the update.
Yeah, go punt that out, and we will wrap this up.
We'll see you later, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.